be always acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated if you're not already. I was unemployed. I was also starting my first semester at seminary. But none of this mattered, though, when Angie asked me to care for her children, Alicia and George. Now, Angie is my little sister, so to speak. I met her when she was 10 at a home for abused and abandoned children. Through the years, we remained close. And Angie needed a break from responsibilities to try to get her life back on track. Given my aforementioned circumstances and the fact that I never had children, my family and friends thought I was crazy to even consider this. Many wondered why I would help such a worthless cause. All of my sacrifices would not change the outcome of these kids' miserable lives. But I prayed about it long and hard. Opening my home to these children is what I thought God was calling me to do. Although Alicia was in 4th grade, she could not read a word. Working with my teacher friends, we developed a system that gave Alicia the freedom of literacy. Looking back, George had the beginnings of an anger issues that unfortunately I did not see at the time. Yes, there were stressful times, but overall, I wouldn't trade them living with me for anything. Now, today's gospel message is the beginning of the final I am statements in John. It's a well-known metaphor. You see it on blocks of wood in gift shops. Jesus is the vine. God is the vine grower, the gardener. And we, the community of Jesus followers, are the branches. Now, for me, the word branches has at times tripped me up. Because when I think of branches, I visualize a tree. And each branch is distinguishable, unique, often independent of other branches. This, however, is not the image that John is creating for us today. These are branches within the vine. These branches grow intertwined, one running right into the other. There is no way to separate them out. The common grapevine wreaths highlight this image for me. There's a mutuality, a commonality, an interrelationship among the branches and the vine. We abide in Jesus. We live in Jesus' words. We live in love together as one plant. As a church, to live as the branches of Christ means that individual distinctiveness gives way to the common embodiment of love. The mark of a faithful community is not who its members are, but how it loves. The branches, the vine, the gardener, all are essential to bear fruit. And what does bearing fruit look like in our lives? What is this which is required for Jesus' followers, for you and I? It is that we are to do works of love. That is what Jesus means when he says that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. Now, all the branches as the community of Jesus followers, known as Christ Church, are reading the book Love is the Way by our presiding bishop, Michael Curry. If you haven't started to read it yet, it is not too late. And plus, we have some copies in the church office if you would like one. This past week, we read chapters 5 and 6. While there is an easy read, there is a lot of meat to chew on. For now, I would like to focus on one strand of thought from Bishop Curry, and that is this. When we do works of love, we don't always know the outcome. He uses the chapter title, It's Not Easy. Our job is to do our job and to let God do God's job, Curry writes. Meaning we are to be the branches and let God be the gardener. We may think that we don't have enough or aren't enough to bear fruit. But Jesus says we don't have to worry about that. When we abide in Jesus, use God as our GPS, a metaphor that Curry uses, we will be guided by love out of which works of love are produced. Curry reminds us that the Ten Commandments begins with the words, I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. Curry continues, I'm thankful for that reminder right there up front, because the frustration happens when I try to do more than my job and try to be God. None of us can know where our witness and love might lead. Our job is to do our job and let God do God's job. Last Thursday evening, some of us had a lovely dinner at the Urban Farms of the Unincluded Club. From the weekly emails the church sends out, you know that there is a group studying sacred ground. This is a film and readings-based dialogue series on grace grounded in faith. And you also know from these emails that we have an outreach steering committee. Those two groups attended Thursday evening's dinner, at which we learned about the seed that started the Unincluded Club, their purpose and their vision. Basically, it's a safe place for East Temple children to blossom. Their mission statement says it best. Our mission is to create a positive learning environment that fosters improved self-confidence and self-esteem. Our children are empowered to be unincluded from negativity, illiteracy, childhood obesity, and giving up. This is surely a place that I wish Alicia and George had access to. I was greatly impressed. I encourage you to talk with those who attended to hear their perspective. If you attended that evening, would you write something in Facebook and let people know? The Gendrons, the Laus, the Torres, the Boyers, Deacon Becky, Crystal French, Robin Dadig, Peter Kinsner, Nan Dixon, Deacon Glenda and her husband Jean, Father Dave and his wife Bev, they were all there. I think that God is at work in our relationship with the Unincluded Club. So what happened to George and Alicia? Did all of my hard work and sacrifice make a difference? Well, George is in prison. And Alicia has 5 children, the firstborn when she was barely a teenager. But Alicia has been in a stable relationship for years, and she reads to her kids who are doing well in school. Who knows what impact I may or may not have had? But the truth is, it doesn't really matter. I just had to do my job and let God do God's job. I wonder what acts of love this community will embrace. Will we partner with the Unincluded Club to help power their empowerment of God's children? Will our branches provide shelter from the negativity of the world? I'd like to hear what you think. Whatever it may be, may we live as a community of branches of Christ, abiding in Jesus and bearing fruit that glorifies our gardener.